show, where conversation is art, art, art. Conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what to spark on the Val show. Ain't no telling the Val show. You know, ain't no telling where we go on the Val show. Ain't no ceiling, cause the art of conversation is the flow. It's that creativity available when we speak, available in our homes, available in the streets. We just trying to get it sparking and take it a little deeper. Keep it casual while fireside chatting with our people. Yeah, we take it a little deeper. It get hot when we fireside chatting with our people. Cause conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what'll spark on the Val and Val show. The Val and Val show.
Well, hello. How everybody doing? Welcome to the Val and Val show. And I'm your host, Valerie and Val. Yes, one and the same. Hope everyone doing well. And hopefully you all got the message that we had to have a change of guests again. But God always have a ram in the bush. So I just want to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you for coming on and following us. Be sure that you like and share our page. Please do that so we can grow our followership. And I'm not going to belabor the time. First, I want to say welcome to Black History Month. February. We get an extra day this year. Remember that, 29 days this year. So welcome to Black History Month. Go out, learn something new. As you know now, there's a lot that we can get to know about our history, much more than we have before. So get out there, participate in some events. Make sure you are teaching your children Black history, the known heroes and those lesser known heroes. So let's make sure we celebrate who we are because we are royal priesthood and we are great people. So happy Black History Month. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in this awesome lady who just happened to belong to me. And that's not why she's awesome, but that's one of the reasons she's awesome because she belongs to me and Terrell Jones. And she's a product, as my dad used to say, everything came from him was good. So that's how we operate. So tonight our guest is Miss Valese Nicole Jones. She is the owner of Sincerely Nicole Media, also the co-owner of the Queendom. Last week I had my bonus daughter Bridget, who was really her sister. They co-own the Queendom, which is a brand of all things beauty that they want to help women of color and Black women be able to have access to any type of beauty needs they have without having to go all over the world to get it. And also, y'all, she's a mover and a shaker. So I'm going to try to give y'all a little bit of her accolades and I'll let you all she'll tell you a little bit about herself. And then we'll get into this hot topic tonight that we're going to talk about with her. So Miss Valese Nicole, she is also known as a neighborhood publicist. And if you go on Instagram and TikTok and just look up the neighborhood publicist or at Valese J, you'll get to hear some of her interesting commentary. That's all I'm going to say about that, okay? And whatever you hear, she 30 years old. That's her own public opinion, okay? That's her own public opinion. Also, she's had some great things happen last year. She won 2 awards. One of them, she was awarded the Publicist of the Year by Cosine Mag, which means magazine. She was also awarded the not the neighborhood publicist, but the best media firm by the Dallas Weekly, which is the oldest newspaper in Dallas. She got so many awards, I couldn't keep up with them, but Terrell and I and Cameron are very proud. And I know people say they don't do this, but I do believe my mom and dad are smiling down from heaven because it's something that they're prayed for, most definitely. And then she has coming up, the girl still ain't through. On February 29th, she will be recognized by Hustle Her, not Hustler. Hustle Her, the award on February 29th. So she has another award, and she's definitely a hustler. She is definitely all of that and more. and she was recently elected to represent Forbes Black Dallas by the Forbes magazine. So she's been busy. So Miss Nicole, come on, join your mama in the room. And I don't know why you so small. Let me make you bigger. There you go. Hey.
Hi, Mom.
And look, you all, I think I did pretty good considering I had to get a replacement like what 30 minutes ago. So I did good with my intro because contrary to proper belief, I don't have memorized everything the child does. She doing too much. I can't keep up. Okay. So what's been happening in your world? Tell the people a little bit about your businesses and stuff, and then we'll jump into this topic.
Well, as she said, I go by Valese J professionally, aka the neighborhood publicist. I am busy. It's Black History Month, so I have a lot of stuff coming up. I have a lot of events coming up here. I got to do a lot of the city of McKinney, which is a suburb here in Dallas. Is Black History Month planning. We have everything from a college expo that features over 25 HBCUs. That's now going to be hosted by none other than Shy Speaks. Um, I'm trying to think what else. It's okay. We have a CEO talk with St. Marshall. It's a lecture series. So we have a breakfast with her where you get to hear from her, learn from her. She's also going to be signing some books. Then we have a party to end the month
Oh,
with DJ Spinderella. That's gonna be great. Oh, I forgot. We also have a gospel brunch with Zacardi Cortez. He'll be head.
wow.
So that's what's going on with me. Oh, and another thing. Hey, Carter Books just put out a Black History activity and coloring book. It's $5 on Amazon this whole the first week of February. So y'all go on Amazon, buy it for the kiddos, buy it for a teacher, because they're trying to take our history out of these schools. But make sure that your kid do not get left behind. It covers 10 of our Black pioneers. It has video lessons that's in connected with it. So that's what I got going on so far.
Okay, so you gonna book my flight?
Child, the way these prices set up, I'm you gonna have to be my assistant because I gotta fly my assistants out here, honey.
Look, speaking of, we also had an opportunity to go out with Hey Carter Books for Christmas in San Francisco, Oakland area and participate in the event. It was great. Oh my goodness. If you all have not seen the Black Santa Claus and this St. Clair the Claus, isn't that what he go
Santa D.
by?
St. Clair.
Yeah, you have got to go out. Just Google up the Black Santa Claus. He'll come up. He lives in Atlanta. So when you're having your events, invite him. He not only is playing Santa Claus, but he's actually educating the children and adults on the origins of Santa Claus. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. So definitely go just Google the real, is it the real Black
It's the
Santa
real
Claus?
Black Santa
The
Claus.
real Black Santa Claus. You got to look him up that way. And he actually has a Birmingham connection. His son-in-law lives here. So his daughter lives here as well. So she's been doing a lot, and she just gave you a little bit of what's going on because the girl been busy, busy, busy. So Miss Valise Nicole, we were deciding what to talk about. So we just decided for her to come on in and let y'all talk about dating in today's generation. But since she is a publicist, I'm gonna be dropping all her links in this chat. So if you need a publicist, she the one to call. Don't ask for no discount. If she think you need it, she'll give it to you.
I'm about to say, if you have a budget, do not call me. I don't do no work for free. I have paid my dues. I got employees and workers to pay.
Yep. That was another thing. She had to span her employees. So yep, she can't work for free. But depends on where you are on the chain. You might get something special, but don't ask. She'll give it to you if you should have it. Okay, so Miss Valise Nicole Jones. Probably should have asked Bridget to come in too again.
I mean, she right out there in the living room. I can go
Okay,
get
we
her.
may have to go get her. So in today's world, what is it like to date? What what are the challenges of dating?
Um, where do we start? Okay, because this is my challenges might be different from somebody else's.
Hmm.
Because which is actually statistically proven, the higher you earn as a woman, the harder it gets to
Yeah.
date. I think that's because when you are not dating out of necessity, you can see people more clearly. I think a lot of people date because they need somewhere to stay. They need somebody to split some bills with. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people, these people don't even like each other. They don't like themselves. But when you don't have to
Um,
date out of necessity, and when you're somebody who goes to therapy and does stuff, and you're not dating out of your lack and a scarcity mindset, it makes it a little bit harder to date. But also I think just with times changing in
yeah.
general, that we're in a shift in consciousness with the culture. And right now, worldwide, people are having this I would like to say friction with what do
Mm-hmm.
we do with the boys, what do we do with the men, because we did not prepare them for the world that is today. I think we live in a generation where, for the first time ever in history, men have to actually be likable people to get women. And that has never happened before.
Mm. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about likable compared to what they were in the past. How are men?
Well, it wasn't really about how we're men. It was more so about
What's
what
the
women
sign?
couldn't do.
Okay.
Um, until 1974, a woman could not have a bank account in her own name. Um, Marital rape didn't become a crime until the year I was born, 1993. So when you couple all of that, really, mom, your generation was the first generation who really got to truly go to work,
Yeah.
not have to have a husband. But even in your generation, it still was taboo to not have a husband. But y'all the first generation who got to actually earn money, open your bank accounts, go to school freely without a man having a say so in it. And so my generation, we are fully like where we don't necessarily need men to live. And so when you don't need a man to live, you don't need his money, you want him to be a decent person. When it become a want and not a need, you know, you want him to be emotionally intelligent. You want him to help you in the house with your kids. You want him to be a present partner, not just somebody who makes money, because I can go do that myself.
And you know what? I wish I could pull it up right now. You make me think about this, Valise, when you said that how it's changed because it was more or less women stayed at home, subservient. They obeyed. They really obeyed and did what they were told. Uh, but it was a video on Facebook, and this little girl, her granddad was sitting in his chair, and he was like, "Go give me this, go give me that, do this, right?" And she said, "Granddaddy, you need to get up and help grandmama do some things." And he said, "No, that's what I got her for, you for, and whatever." And she walked up to him. She said, "Well, granddaddy, grandmama just need to get her a new husband because you is lazy. You don't help do nothing." And she was probably about 7 or
Oh, you just
8.
reminded me. Hold on. Bridget, take the lamb chops out the oven. Okay.
Oh, you cooking?
Yeah.
I'm glad you thought of that because lamb chops too expensive for you to
She said
burn
she
up.
already, she's like, I already
Oh yeah,
did.
burn up. Believe I mean, Bridget, like you ain't finna burn up our dinner while you here on conversation is art. Would be fighting. So literally, that's true. That's true. Now I can understand what you said. Now I grew up in a household that was not the case, and you all at least have to always constantly remind me. She say, "Mama, you are dear. You can't say how we were raised, cause my mom did not wait on my dad hand and foot, and my dad was like." Now she cooked most of the meals, but he was like, if she cooked the meal, it's a sorry man can't go fix his own plate. And my mom did not have to take my daddy clothes to the laundry to wash them. He took his own clothes there and everything. So a different scenario that I grew up in. So I have to remember that when I'm having these conversations. So with that, how do you think men have adjusted to women being able to basically not need them for financial support as much now?
Oh, they're having a terrible time with it. That's why we keep having all these podcasts. That's why they're following. That's why they love men like Kevin Samuels. That's why you got a bunch of sermons in the pulpit about a woman need to know her place and this, that, and the third. It's just interesting how all the sermons are always directed at what women need to be doing and how we need to be wives, but very rarely do I hear them teaching men how to be husbands. When the last time you seen a series about a man being a good husband?
Correct. And that's one of my pet peeves too. I'm like, why y'all raising women to be wives and mothers and upstanding citizens? Why y'all ain't teaching these men how to be men? What their responsibilities are. And I've always been like this. I don't live in a world where I think, quote unquote, it's necessary gender specific things. I think the person that is more capable of doing that thing should do it. Now, use a good example. Having to go, unfortunately, to some family member's funeral tomorrow, and we had 5 die in the past 10 days. It's been a hit, so y'all pray for our family. Uh, Yesterday evening, your dad came in and immediately said, "I'll be back. I'm going to wash your car and clean it out." You know, that's him. And he's always been like that. Now he don't cook that much, but if I don't want to cook, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And even sometimes he'll just call and say, "Hey, don't worry about cooking. I'm gonna stop and get us something." I know that's probably more close to the exception than the rule, because I know some folks, even in my age, they still like wait on their husbands and even their boyfriends.
Sure, the boy children too, because it don't just because let's just say the dating problem doesn't just start when you get to dating. Just the differences that are made in how girls and boys are raised in
Hmm.
totality. The whole boys will be boys mentality. And even now, if you are, I actually talk to teachers and and the students about how mean a lot of the boys are to the girls now, and even to the teachers. They don't respect women so much that they're not even listening to their teachers anymore, and teachers are having violent outbursts from these boys. We've seen an uptick in teen intimate partner violence. I just read a study today about how younger boys are leaning more conservative in their beliefs in politics, and also that's why Roe v. Wade was overturned. I know people like we're talking about dating, but dating is just a microcosm of what's going on in the macro. Um, and they're literally trying to roll our rights back because instead of them adjusting to the fact that, hey, I have to actually be a good person, it'll be better to make women slaves again.
I got you. I hear you. As a matter of fact, and I'm gonna share this because he shared it on the prayer line yesterday, Pastor Beavers. We Sunday, yeah, Sunday at New Rising Star, he appointed our first head deacon who is female. And this is from him even coming up to at one point didn't believe in female preachers, but he had, and studying the word and everything, he say realized Jesus had a lot of female helpers. As a matter of fact, there were 2 women that went and told everybody else that Jesus had risen. So he has changed. So some people challenged him on Facebook, and he said he normally don't even respond to stuff like that, but he felt he needed to explain why. And then he said it was like it was not a matter for them to agree with him, but his heart is at peace with God, and and what he did. And he always acknowledged that the Bible was written very patriarchal. And I always try to remind people this: y'all do know we only got a snippet of documentation historically of all that stuff. So it's not like there were not some moving and shaking women back then as well. Now they was probably shut down and ostracized because they was outspoken like us. But I'm like this. I'm gonna speak my piece. And you don't have to like it. I'm gonna stand up for what's right if it's something I believe in. But you're right, men don't. And I'm trying to read some of these comments because this is a hotbed. Look, one said we had to make my brother bed. Uh-uh.
Girl,
I started them
Shaba,
out early. Make my brother bed. Oh my goodness. And somebody in Moon River said the men are not adjusting.
they are not. They are they are throwing a temper tantrum. I that's what they're doing. They're throwing a temper tantrum because here's the thing. Women have heard out everything blames women. We've heard all our lives. Pick better men. Change this. You do that. Be this way. Da da da. Okay. You got the girls. You got the girls who chose to do everything perfect, who chose to be the good girl, who did followed every rule that they were getting. What they get? They don't get no. They get no reward for that. They get a sorry husband that's cheating, playing, doing whatever. Won't help them with the children. Okay, then it's okay. Then you got the girls who don't care. They're like, I'm gonna be a hoe. Like I'm gonna live my life. Guess what? They still ain't. Nobody's winning. So the girls are not winning either way. So now a lot of women have just opted out of dating altogether, and now they keep trying to scare us with being alone. But once again, the facts show that men are projecting their reality onto us. Because even when women are single, they tend to have way more community. Men can have
Yeah.
children and have been married. And guess who's sitting in the nursing homes rotting away because they didn't do right by their families.
Now, honey, you ain't have to say riding away.
I'm just saying that's what they doing. That's if you ask the people in the nursing home, you ask the nurses, they tell you. I had a black doctor just he was talking about this to me yesterday about how a lot of his older black male patients particularly don't have anybody because they didn't do right by their kids, they didn't do right by their wives, so they'll be stuck in the hospital with nobody to come see about them. And he's like, I'll call the kids and they be like, just call us when he dead.
Yeah, I had to laugh at this. This one here, where's Ellen to come? I got to show this one. This was too funny right here, where she says, "My daddy would be sitting by the phone and call me to answer it."
See, I was too much. That's why the Lord had to have me be born in this generation because the way I would have got so many beatings back then.
You would have been like your auntie Faye.
I would have got so many whippings because the way I would have snatched that phone out of the wall and can't nobody call here no more. How about that?
Well, look, and here's your auntie Renee. She's saying that she agreed, but she ain't mowing no grass, and she not washing her
Oh
car.
no, auntie, I am fully. Here's the thing: as long as patriarchy is intact, there are some gender roles that I will be continuing to adhere to. So the car is your responsibility. You cutting grass because I got asthma. I'm not finna go out there and pass away to cut no grass. You gonna take out this trash. There's just certain tasks that they gonna have to do. And honestly, for me, until men come farther, I prefer you to make a little bit more money than me because I don't want to hear that. I
Yeah,
don't want to hear
and
it.
this is good, Renee. I'm gonna put this up. The most important thing is communicating before you get married to try and understand each other's view. I honestly believe before you get married, you need to take like a year course together on communicating from the right people, um, and realizing. I think the biggest thing to realize when you're getting ready to get married is that who you're marrying today is not who you're going to end up with down the road because we change, we evolve. I mean, I may acquire different interests, or there may be something that I was really into that now that's no longer what I want to do, and you got to respect people doing that. I think that's one of the things, and for you all that don't know, me and my husband were divorced and remarried, and it probably was because when both of us tried to date, we realized no, let's go back and try to do this thing right this time. Cause I will share this one time, and I wasn't even on a date. I was just out and I was parking my truck. And this guy just randomly wanted me, hey, you know that line, and he says, I like to get to know you so I can drive this truck. I didn't even say anything to him, y'all. But he looked at me. He said, "Woo." He said, "I said the wrong thing." He said, "Cause the look you gave me, and it was the look I gave him was drive who truck." But I also know this: when I was working at my other job, I would come out in the evening, and I would see many hardworking nurses, in particular, standing outside, wait for some man to drive up in their car, picking them up late.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Lord
Ma.
Jesus.
I don't know about your generation of nurses, but my generation of nurses, they are some of the biggest crash dummies when it comes to dating. They will date the scum of the earth. I'm like, ma'am, how did you even meet him? Why was you there? Because I'm just one of the beliefs. Some people just don't have any access to me because I don't go where they are. So how does he even know you?
Girl, look at Auntie Renee. I made my daddy coffee. No, I promise you, my daddy said, "Girl, your husband gonna beat you," and he did not beat my mama. Renee, but you know what, Renee? Julie, well, Daddy made his own coffee, but when I got up, I would make it. But it's interesting. Now, I do something, y'all, for my family. Lisa tell y'all this that I did not learn in Atmore. So all I can say, God must have put it in me. Lisa would tell you, even now, if everybody's here, for the most part, if I cook, what is the one thing I generally do, Belize?
You fix everybody plate.
I fix everybody's plate. Nobody's ever asked me to fix everybody's plate. But pretty much, what's the one thing I'm not gonna do, Valese, that I hate
You're
with a
not gonna mop the
passion?
floor. She'll wait till I come home for me to mop the floor.
And then Terrell has taken pretty that up pretty much now. And then he went out and bought me a steamer since we had new floors put down in the kitchen. So it's a steam mopper, and I do that. But the rest of them, he takes care of it because I detest it. So I think more or less when you are married or dating, those are the things you need to talk about. And it's okay. There's no girl things, boy things. I think the better person, my sister, example, Faye about that life and cooking, okay? Faye would work outdoors in the dirt and do all that kind of stuff and no problems.
She make a
But
good
she ain't
banana
about
pudding.
that she does. And she'll cook some living rice. Look, I'm gonna be there tomorrow, and guess what she already told me? I need you to cook me a cabbage. I told her have it at the house. But James knows that. And James loves to cook.
That's her husband, by the way. If y'all don't know who
Yeah.
James is.
So yeah. Look, Renee said, I wait, but I ain't fixing your plate. And she said, your plate.
I don't
Okay, Renee. Don't get in trouble.
I don't mind fixing plates. I don't mind doing most things I don't mind doing. It's
Uh-huh.
when you feel entitled to them, which I feel like a lot of people do. But as far as I know, Auntie, I wanted to comment on Auntie's comment about communicating your views before marriage. Yeah, I do. I think that's very important, and it's actually one of my friends. He's a marriage counselor. That's what he does, but he specifically focuses on Black masculinity, in particular, because he's a Black man. But he talks about how like the conflicting views that Black men have because they like hold their moms like up here
Mm-hmm.
on this pedestal, but the pedestal's not good because it causes this friction in their romantic relationships because a lot of what they're looking for in a romantic partner is their mother. But at the
Okay.
same time, if you act like their mom, they hate
They mad.
that. But I think most men do that in general. But he talks mainly about Black men. I just from my observations, not even just in a romantic context, even in a work context, if you look at the
Uh-huh.
tasks that men will just inadvertently give over to women, like, oh, y'all gonna keep the coffee room stocked? No. Why? No, I'm not keeping the coffee room stocked. You keep the
Oh
coffee
my
room
God.
stocked.
Look, Valise, Eleanor just put a comment in the chat that will lead us to your favorite thing. Lord, Valise don't educated me on these terminologies. My friend told me about his friend daughter is a nurse working two jobs to take care of her non-working boyfriend. Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
Okay. You
So,
talking about pick me? That's what you want.
oh yeah, let's talk about y'all. Let Valise tell y'all about pick me. I was like, she was using that. I was like, I'm googling. I be going to the what is it, Urban Dictionary. What in the world is pick me syndrome? So
So
tell the people about pick me.
so pick me is something that was birthed on the internet. I don't know if it was technically, I think Twitter birthed that term, but basically it is a woman who is completely male centered. You know, y'all got them homegirls who will do anything to get the attention of any man. She is not a good friend. She gonna throw her girls under the bus for that man. She the friend that's gonna leave girls' night every single time to go be with that no good dude or the girl right there, like you said, working two jobs while a man laying on her couch sucking up all the good air.
So, what do you think cause women to? Are there any statistics out there? And y'all, a reason if you haven't figured it out, Lisa's a history buff. She's a statistical guru, so she's gonna be able to tell you 4.567% of such and such. I used to be that way about 20 years ago. Now I'm like When I need to look it up, I'm looking it
I
up.
mean,
I
I
ain't
have
doing
to
that no
have
more.
facts. I am a publicist. I have to have my
I know,
facts.
but you had facts when you was in the eighth grade, child. She had facts when she was in eighth
I
grade.
just personally believe if you're gonna speak on something, you should have read, be informed.
True,
You should not just be out. Opinions can be informed, even if you have
true,
those.
true.
In
You
facts, they do matter.
sometime.
I know we living in a post-Trump world where y'all like alternative facts, but we have to live in reality sometimes.
Well, you know what though? I think the post-Trump world, y'all know I'm a believer, so we talk believer stuff on here. If you not, you can keep going or don't matter. But I feel like in the post-Trump world is biblical. The Bible says good would be called evil, it would be called good, everything would be all swapped up and everything. And people would be doing whatever they want to do. So going back to the pick me, so I'm sure it's definitely more than one reason for anything. But what seems to be the primary driver, especially for women that making good money? I can't imagine having someone not working unless something is physically wrong with them, and then they better be trying to get one of these stay-at-home jobs or better. When I show up at this house, I ain't washing, I ain't cleaning, I ain't cooking unless it's a special thing that only I can do. I ain't doing squat if you were at the house and unable to work.
The
And you might need to bring my lunch to work if I was going to leave the house.
I think the short but long answer is patriarchy. Um, as a whole. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, in my life, we ain't talking about your life. We talking about the bigger picture. So get out your feelings. Don't talk about what you do in your household. Get out your feelings. We talking about how most people are socialized because this is what the world puts in everything. And I don't care how smart you think you are, how you are can't be manipulated, can't be persuaded. Yes, you can be. That's why I get paid to do it every day. So patriarchy is the short answer. When you grow up in your entire life, you are inundated with messages that say all of your accomplishments are cool, but you ain't got a man. And you hear that from
Yeah.
every angle, from even in our cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
Women's accomplishments are diminished the minute they don't have a man. You don't have a man, you don't have a husband, you don't have kids. So when that's beating over your head, from the media, and then a lot of people's families beat that over their head. Then you got religion beating it over your head, but only to the girls. You're telling the boys to go out and sleep with as many women as they can, to sow their wild oats, settle down, after they do their thing. But even when they settle down, you can still do what you want to do, because you make the money, because you do whatever. But you're telling girls, remain pure, do, be this way, be submissive, be docile, be all these things to be this perfect woman, but yet the results are still ending up the same. So I think just a lot of women, you have to unpack it. Like, a lot of people have not unpacked what they have been raised to believe, because a lot of people believe what they were raised to know is right. But just because you were raised knowing something, or because something was once right, does not mean it's morally correct. Slavery was once legal. That don't mean it's right. Beating your wife was legal up until, I think, beating your wife was legal till 1967 in the United States. And then if you want to take it globally, Italy just made that illegal in 2002 for a man to put his hands
Wow.
on his wife. So I think people don't realize how close we are to women not having rights. And that's why we're romanticizing a time that never existed, especially if you are a black woman. A time where you did not go to work never existed, because you were working. The only women who somewhat had their reality was white women. But guess how they had their reality? Because you were working for that white woman as a black woman. That's how she was able to, handle the house. She wasn't handling the whole house. She had a team of people handling the house, because truth be told, nobody wants to handle a whole household on their own. It's not easy for you to do every single thing, have kids, cook dinner. That it takes a lot of mental space to do all of that, to plan. Like, it's not easy doing any of that stuff And I think the thing is like, oh, if I have a man, it'll make it easier. But facts just show for a lot of women, it actually makes it harder to have the man. The man actually adds more work to the plate. And the wildest part was during the pandemic. If you notice, who had to leave the workforce when the kids were out of school? Women. The husbands
Mm-hmm.
weren't leaving their
True.
jobs. Even if the women were higher earning than them, the women were still leaving their jobs to stay at home, take care of the kids, and help with the family. So just the overall system of what we've been taught is flawed. And a lot of people are not ready to unpack that. And because of that, we have this friction generationally. We have this friction, across genders, across the LGBTQ community. Because I know a lot of people think they're not affected. No, they're dealing with patriarchy and gender norms just like we are. They're dealing with domestic violence issues. They're dealing with everybody's dealing with this all across the board. And that's why I don't want especially black men particularly, I don't want to think y'all don't have a special problem. You are men, so you act like men. Men in general are having this problem, so it's not a black man issue.
All righty then. And I think one thing we need to do, especially start early. First of all, teaching respect and stop having these gender roles. I think the worst thing is the gender roles. Like you say, yeah, wash the car, whatever. But if let's say something happened, your dad didn't wash the car, and I decided to get my car washed, it ain't no deal breaker.
Mhm.
I've heard this one girl, she was like, well, if he don't open the door for me, I'm like, baby, by the time me and your daddy going somewhere, I'm out the car and head on to
Well, I would
whatever.
like to tell you just a little historical fact. I want y'all to know that romance was a made up concept by broke men because they could not get women, and I'm not joking. Like that's literally where the whole conversation of romance come from. Because back in the day, the kings and the knights were the only ones that were getting the suitable, which were considered the suitable women to be married.
Hmm.
So then the poor men were like, dang, they taking all the women. How can we compete with them to get, some of the women back on our side? So they answer for not having no money was romance. So that's where it came from. It did,
So basically, coming with chivalry.
yeah, they came up with
Well,
chivalry.
well, but I feel like this. Well, I feel like if the men did what the Bible said, it said you ought to love your wife as Christ loved the church and as you love yourself. Because most men do love they love themselves. They full of themselves. They think they all of that and everything.
I would
Although
argue
they
they
got
don't
emotional
love
issues.
themselves. They're just full of ego. I would say they're full of ego. They're egotistical. A lot of men are egotistical. They don't love themselves though, because look at how they treat themselves. A lot of them, when they don't have a wife, they don't take care of their health. Men have way higher suicide rates than women. Why? Because they don't talk to anybody. They don't take care of their mental health. I think it's even increased. During the pandemic, their suicide rates.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's the problem. I think men don't love themselves as a whole. I don't think men see themselves humanly. And a lot of times they talk about, oh, nobody cares about our feelings. It's not that nobody cares. You don't care about your feelings. And men created an environment where you guys can't express certain emotions. And because of that, women have bought into it because we get the short end of the stick of you doing that, because we get to deal with all your anger. I think all the time, especially particularly for black men and women, I think about Nikki Giovanni talking to James Baldwin when she says, lie to
Mhm.
me like you lie to him. Because you often go out into the world with this mask on and then you want to come home and drop the mask. But it's like, I don't want to get the worst of you because you went out there and gave everybody else the best. I don't want you being mean to me.
Yeah, the crumbs. You know what you made me think about? I thought about Fences with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. That's really what I thought about. And that's what a lot of women do. Now, today, there's some women would, but you have a lot of women would not, because now you even have the point now, a lot of women like you cheat that first time, they out. And sadly, going back to the church, let's say infidelity and adultery happens in a marriage. The only people they telling to pray and fight for the marriage is the woman. I even shared, I told Pastor B one time, I said, y'all get these men too many outs. We were just having a general conversation, right? Y'all, men get a pass. They get a pass in the world, they get a pass at church, but women as a whole don't. We're held at a much higher standard and we are scrutinized more and ridiculed and belittled more. You know, a woman have, I'm just gonna say, three children by three different men. She's viewed differently. But a man can, these men can get out here and brag about having 11 children and not taking care of any of them. And nobody says anything. Now, your Auntie Renee had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
She wanted to know, how do you navigate all this? How do you navigate this?
How do I navigate that with dating? Honestly, I really don't date a lot. I don't meet a lot of men that I want in my presence. I'm gonna be completely honest. Um, I just don't, because I mean, unfortunately, like, it's just the more ignorance is bliss. It really is. And I could also say that because I've had good experiences younger. I had a high school sweetheart that I was with for 6.5 years. And I tell people all the time, if a 16 through 22-year-old boy can act like he got some sense, and we can communicate and talk and figure things out and work through differences, you think I'm finna deal with an extra grown man who can't communicate his feelings, who doesn't have the emotional vocabulary, the emotional intelligence, emotional awareness? I'm not doing it. So I'm gonna be honest. Most of my homegirls were single. Most of my friends are single. The ones that I marry and partner, I'm gonna be honest. I have no desire to have what they have. I'm back. I see what's behind the curtains. I'm I'm a-okay. I ain't saying, I love y'all, and I done told them this to their face. I don't envy what you got going on at all. Uh,
And and the truth is that a lot of times we'll look at people and think, oh, I wish I had their relationship, had their relationship. I wanted to back up and talk about something you mentioned earlier about how men like marry their mom, but then they had the stain. It's a love-hate relationship, I say. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna talk about my favorite brother, Jerry McMillan, who is not perfect by any means, but looking at him and my sister-in-law, who will be married 50 years this year. I think it's 50 years. What is it? Yep, 50 years this year in August. Uh, and Jerry is just that guy. I mean, he's always been kind. I mean, definitely for the women in his life, but he loved family anyway. So in a conversation, I was talking to Flora. They probably married about 30 some years. And I said, Flora, what made you want to marry Jerry? What was about Jerry that made you want to marry him? And she said, because he loved his mother and his sisters. And I felt that a man that loved his mother, she said genuinely, she said when Jerry talked about his mama and his sisters, his eyes would just light up. And she was like, this man gonna treat me right. And he has definitely done that. Now, of course, they have issues just like anyone. But as a whole, if Lisa would tell you this, going on 50 years, if you see Jerry and Flora out, what are you're gonna think you're looking at high school sweethearts. But they make each other a priority, even with having their children. Their children. So it is doable. But her thing was looking at this guy really love his mama and sisters. And Lisa would tell you right now, there's very little Jerry's ever missed related to anything that happened with my kids or Faye's kids or anybody's in our family. He's just that person. You can be assured if something major going down, he ain't showing up. He'll show up here now and go out in their garage and start putting everything in order. It's just who he is. So I might have to have them to come on and talk about their
well,
marriage.
I think the thing that's important about, like, Uncle Jerry is, not only does he love his mom and his sisters, he genuinely respects and values women.
Yeah,
And that's, to me, what's more important, because you can rationalize loving your mama because she your mama, or loving your sister because she your sister, but you not have a genuine respect
for
and,
women.
reverence for women as people, and seeing women as humans and not just objects for you to use, whether that be for sex, whether that be for, her brain, what she can get you, whatever. You have to see women as human. And I definitely think for most people that starts with their mom, and even women have to learn how to see each other as human, which I like I said once again starts with your mom. For me, my journey in unpacking a lot of patriarchal stuff in myself was in college, and that started with me not looking at you as my mama, but looking at you as a woman who had lived a whole life before you even thought about having me, who has a whole life that does not revolve around me, to see not only you clearly, but to see myself clearly as a
Okay.
woman, and to really get down to the root of my desires. Because to be honest, when I tell people, people think it's like I'm making this up or it's coming from a jaded place. Yeah, I have never desired to be married. I was never the little girl drawing, pictures of me and my future husband. That was never me. Even when men talking to me about marriage, being engaged, I wasn't really even thinking about what that looked like because I didn't care. I've never wanted to be a mom. I love kids, but I've never wanted the responsibility of somebody waking me up calling me mama. Like I'm 30 and still be calling Val and Terrell every day. I don't want that in my life. I'm sorry. I don't see that for me. I'm glad they did it, because thank you for bringing me here. But I don't see that life for me, and not in a negative way. I have a bunch of god kids and nieces and nephews and stuff. I love them. I get to be a part of their lives, but I love taking them back to their mama house when I'm done. I don't want them waking me up. I just don't. That's not the life that I want to live. And even with
Yeah.
marriage, I know that because of what I do, very like if I pick a partner, it has to be very strategic, because in 101 Dalmatians, Cruella DeVille said something that always stuck with me even as a little girl. She said, "We have lost more great women to marriage than anything else." And I like when I was younger, I did not understand what she meant. But growing up and really like watching and paying attention to the women, not just ones that I grew up around, but just watching in general, especially like now from this different lens of unpacking it through patriarchy, so much stuff and greatness is inside of women that they don't get to do because they busy taking care of some grown man.
Hey, Valese, Ellen sent you a message.
I don't want to have none. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to
Well,
have
you
no
know what?
children.
Well, you know what, Valese? Let me share this with the people because honestly, you all, I didn't play getting married growing up. That was not on my list. Now, do I think marriage is beautiful? And trust me, y'all, let me go to the scripture now again. What God planned and intended in Garden of Eden is not what we're living in. We're living in a very counterfeit version after the fall because Adam and Eve were co-partners in the garden. A lot of people don't act like they don't realize that, but they were. They were. It was after everything got messed up, and then of course that the order changed. So for me, even today, I try to pursue me and your dad's marriage now from that perspective and what God actually intended. And you learn that your grandmother used to say something about don't be gagging on a net and swallowing a camel. Some of y'all don't get that. She meant don't be vacillating over something small and tiny and you ignoring this big thing. I see women that live with just habitual adulterers or abusers. But if they leave their shoes in the floor, they ready to tear the house down. No, you need to be tearing the house down by him disrespecting you with those type of activities. But that goes to women are trained that girl, it's better have a piece of man. I have never heard that said to a man in my life that it's better to have a piece of woman than no woman at all. In my 58.6 years of living, I have yet to hear that being said. And I don't want no piece of man. So
And
don't.
don't get me wrong, I love Auntie Betty Wright. My Auntie Trina love Betty Wright, so I love Betty Wright by default. Rest in peace, Auntie. But Auntie, both of them, Auntie Betty too. But that's foolish. That's some of the most foolish stuff I ever heard a woman say. Don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just a man doing the best that he can. Mr. Charlie would never say that about you, Auntie Betty. He would have never said that if you pissing Mr. Charlie off. Guess what Mr. Charlie gonna do? Go down the street and find a woman that ain't.
True. Believe you. Hey, look, you got a soulmate right here with a Cruella. She really dropped some gems, and I love I'm not the only one that clocked it as a little girl.
Exactly. Yeah, it was, I didn't know what she meant. And I'm gonna tell you, my grandma is saved and sanctified as she was by the time I came around alone, because she wasn't always that way.
Because you finna quote that quote.
My grandma told me, don't nothing mess up a woman on a mission like a bad piece of, y'all fill in the blank. And she said the word. She did. And she told me, like, it was her and my granddaddy, because I didn't understand. My granddad had really in-depth conversations with me about men, believe it or not. And my granddaddy told me that, like, he was like, men will seek women out like you to humble you. So you have to be even more careful because you are so ambitious and you're so smart. He was like, yeah, they'll quote unquote like you, but they'll really be jealous of who you are and what's inside of you, especially if they can't, be that thing. They'll be jealous of how other people love you. And it was, to be honest, I was telling my granddad, I'm like, granddaddy, dang, you think this horribly, like, you think men really that bad? And my granddad like, yes, I'm telling you, I don't think I know, I'm a man. And I was just, at that age, I'm like, dang, they can't be that bad. But then I had grew up and, like, he was right. He right.
But you know what though, and I can say this. And granted, y'all, my parents were married 69 years, definitely not a perfect marriage. And there was some adultery, and my mom chose to stay. And thank God they committed their life to Christ, got together, and my mom loved those kids of their own, and they loved my mom as well and helped us take care of them. But the one thing I've always loved with my dad, because I always tell people, you look at your dad, he was married to my mom, but he was my dad, and I was a dad's girl. My dad with my mom, because my mom was, everybody know my mom spoke her mind, but she would love you and do anything. And she was a mover and a shaker. Had she been born at a different time, my mom probably would have been one of the first Black women in politics or something big in politics. And she loved it. But my dad, whatever my mama wanted to do, he was like, okay, Mary, you manage the money. Can we do that? And my mom and them had things they did together and things they did separately. So for me, when I got married, I came into my marriage with that. There are things I'm going to do with my husband. There are things I'm going to do with my girls. And I'm going to do things by myself. I can't deal with that smothering, hovering. We got to do everything together. That ain't my ideal oneness. To me, sometimes that's fakeness.
Yeah, I
And
think.
y'all get, Valese, I just want to tell them this. Y'all stop posting all these, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. Then all of a sudden y'all go ghost. I mean, I don't have a problem with celebrating your spouse, but some of y'all be doing too much and you trying to actually portray something that really don't exist in the background. And eventually, when you stop posting, we all know it imploded. And it wasn't that real in the beginning. Now what you was gonna say,
I
baby?
personally am nosy. This is how I know. So if you gonna show me all the highlights, please let me know when the divorce happened, because I'm invested. I'm watching your business like a reality show. Don't be coming on here want to show us the $40,000 wedding, but don't want to show us the divorce. I'm nosy, okay? I'm invested. This is now our marriage.
Look, you see your auntie Renee. Facebook is fake book. You got that right. You got that right. Just be real. I mean, like I said, you share stuff, and it's not about putting all your business out there, but don't be up here acting like, as the folks say, they boo boo don't stink. It stink. It stink. And there are times when you don't even want to look at them. I remember Pastor Chappelle used to say, he say, when he counsel people, he said, I don't even ask people if they love each other because I already know the answer to that. He said, I ask them, okay, what you gonna do when you show up at home and they don't bother whatever kind of car, and she don't did this in the house? What you gonna do? He said, they be looking like, what? Yeah, that's kind of stuff you're gonna have to deal with. And say, also, what's gonna happen when you lay down in the bed, same bed together? You like, they used to be, he used to be handsome. I don't even like his ugly self tonight. And you do have those moments in marriage. But as Renee said earlier, those conversations and at least making sure, to me, there's some key things I think you need to have solid before you get married. How you feel about finances? Children, do both of y'all want children? Some people marry people assuming that they really had that conversation and the other person don't want children. And believe me, there are some folks, you drop a baby on them, they ghost. They go. Um, if you are believers, do you believe the same thing? Because all believing ain't equal. You got levels of maturity in that. And then you may not have a person that want to travel all the time, but if they don't want to go nowhere and you do, that's gonna be a problem, okay? I went to Portugal in November. Terrell didn't want to go. He didn't have a problem with me going. I know some folks that their spouse would be like, no, you can't go, and they would not have gone. Now, like Valese said, like she said that she would have been rebelling. I would have been like, oh, you say I can't go to Portugal. Oh, I'm getting on the plane tomorrow. I'm leaving early now. I mean, it's the truth. Because I love to travel. I'm the person too. There's certain things my spouse just don't like to do. He ain't into performing arts. So I rarely invite him to that. I go by myself. I found a friend and I go with them. Because I'm not one to force things on people. Yes, there are certain events we attend together because we know this is special to them and I'm going to go to that. But you can't force anybody to like everything you like. But also, don't let them stop you from doing what you enjoy. So, Felisa, you see that in your generation that the men don't want y'all to do? Be independent. They prefer you.
Okay, so the men in our generation are confused. Um, they want us to have money, but they don't want us to have too much. They want us to have an education, but not more than them. Um, so they, like I said, they're very confused. They want to try to be like controlling and patriarchal. Some of them do want to try to be controlling and patriarchal, but it does not make sense because their pockets don't match the expectations. Because I'm just gonna tell everybody here, that pipe dream of staying at home. Child, do you see this economy? Everybody gotta go to work. I'm finna get Cookie a job, okay?
Tell everybody who Cookie
Cookie is
is.
my dog. I'm about to figure out how she gonna get a job on the social media, and we gonna blow her little page up. She real photogenic. I'm finna find out how she can model, cause everybody got to pay their way around here. Ain't no
You better
staying
not
at
be
home.
messing with my Cookie.
Yeah,
You better be
I ain't
messing.
nobody staying at home. But I think a lot of them are confused. One, because this is something that I learned mentoring boys. These men have to get in order because I will watch these boys be trying to do better, trying to learn better, but a lot of older men who are bitter and feel some type of way will steer them wrong. So a lot of times your boys and younger men don't have wise counsel to seek from. And that's even within the church, without the church, and why so many of them turn to why they listening to podcasts like, Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit. And for
God rest his soul.
yeah, and
Or
for
wherever he's resting.
what you say?
I said wherever he's resting.
Yeah, and for parents of boys, I don't care how old your boy is, you need to be talking to him about the manosphere because that's a really big thing out here. And if you Google that, so many people talk about how they watch their husbands and fathers and brothers and all of that be radicalized by this information, this red pill infrastructure on the internet. And y'all, it's
What
not a
did you call
joke.
the Valise? The what fear? I looked it up, but the manosphere.
Manosphere. So that's a real thing, y'all, and it's really seeping into these boys' lives. It's coming through the video games, through YouTube ads. No matter how young your boy is, they are putting this stuff in there and putting this stuff in their heads that they're supposed to feel a certain type of way about women, that women are supposed to be this, that women are supposed to be that, and that men are supposed to be this way, and it's not healthy. And I think just like the whole thing is, we're not going to have a healthy dating environment until we have a more healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we will eventually get there, but I think my generation is going to have to take the L when it comes to dating and marriage and stuff like that so that we can create a better future for the next generation.
Wow, y'all, and that manosphere is really something that it's like an indoctrination, and it's what Kevin Samuel actually was doing with his podcast and all. And you all, we have it's a lot going on, and I pray for y'all because Lord Jesus, it's a lot for y'all to have to try to date now in this world. And just having somebody, as my grandma used to say, with some CS, common sense. Some common sense would definitely be. Now, I know me, I'm 58, and I probably tolerated more than you would tolerate, and tolerated a whole lot less than what people in my age would tolerate. But as you said with me, I knew one thing. I knew when I came to Birmingham, was going to college. I was like, I ain't get married fast because when I start working, I'm drawing my own money before I have to share it with somebody. And that's something you need to weigh out before you get married. Now, who was it? Elder put this in the thing. Now, this is a big controversial right here. Keep separate bank accounts. Can have joint, but have your backup, according to my mama. So, what's your thoughts on that, Valese?
I agree. I don't believe I to be. I'm gonna be honest. I don't believe in a man knowing how much money. He don't even know that. He ain't gonna. He'll know in the ballpark, but he'll never know how much money I have.
But what's going when you file income tax, Valese?
We can still file them separately. I'm an entrepreneur. You don't want
What?
my stuff on your taxes. I just don't. Until here's the thing. If we lived in a better world where patriarchy did not exist, of course, let's be open, honest. You can know everything I have, but in this one, in a patriarchal world, no, that's a dangerous game for women to be playing. For a man to know where all your money is, to know every single thing you got. No, ma'am, you need to have you some mad money somewhere. So for all you girls who be staying at home, don't work, don't keep your skills up, please stop doing that. I mean, listen, the divorce lawyers are over there on TikTok. The girls who did that are over there on TikTok telling y'all the reality of their lives. Your fairy tale does not exist. That's what I want everybody to realize. The fairy tale does not exist. This is reality. Reality is the more power you give a man over you financially, the less options you have as a woman.
And I know some of y'all don't like Tyler Perry with some of they say stereotyping, but Diary of a Mad Black Woman was very true. Then you can go back to Whitney Houston now. What was the movie? Waiting to Exhale.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite line is when the police showed up and he said to Angela Bassett, ma'am, you can only burn trash out here. And she said, this is trash with all his clothes in the car on fire. Okay, I got a little sick twist of mind. That was my favorite part of the movie. But that's true. I know a lot of women, even if they stay up, they don't know anything about their finances. Now, long ago, I used to think, well, all the money should be together and we can all live together in harmony. No, I think you need your household account, and then each of you should have your separate account. But I don't think there should be secret accounts. Now, I disagree with Elise. I don't think there should be secret account. I don't think you need to have an account to where your mom and them live in the bank and they don't know about. Now, with that, if you have a spouse that may be crazy and foolish, you may say, no, I can't put your name on it. I got to put somebody else's name on it if that's your, I call it your emergency money. But you just have to get there. I think the more we go about learning how we need to first date, and Pastor Beavers did a great teaching on this call. Dating is for you to be collecting data and paying attention to everything. But when you start hopping into bed with people too fast, that changed the whole dynamics of it. So you need to be going out. Just a few weeks ago, y'all, we're a little bit over our time, but this is good. The young girl came on and she was mad because the man didn't take her. Did he want to take her to Applebee's and didn't take her to a better restaurant? But my thought is, you got to earn a better restaurant. For me, if I was the one, I mean, I know they out there saying, because I'm gonna be mad. I go out, I take you to a restaurant and your entree $100 and mine $100, and then you be crazy. I need to see how you act in the humble means first, if you appreciative.
I mean, I
And
disagree
I
with
don't
that.
think she had much. I don't even think she had much.
I mean, I disagree with that for several reasons. Um, I'm trying to see the best way to put this.
No, just going to tell her how you
No,
go
I'm
and
gonna be
say
like,
it.
this is why I disagree with it, because we know that in the current society, what do men measure their worth by? Their time and their money. That's
Uh
what
huh.
men measure worth by. So the amount of money a man willing to spend on you tells you a lot. If you a girl who like Applebee's, I know y'all gonna get mad, honey. Y'all gonna feel the type of way. But I'm just gonna let you know, a man that's trying to impress you ain't gonna take you to no Applebee's. I ain't saying he gotta take you on a $200 date, but he gonna give you more than Applebee's. He gonna give you.
I'm saying when you getting to know. Now, we can escalate up, but I probably want to meet you at the park because I may not even want to sit around the table
I feel like that's what
from
the
you
phone.
anyway.
That's what the phone for. But see, I don't go on dates with stranger men, so I can't relate to that part because I don't understand people who be going on all these dates with strangers. I don't. First off, I genuinely just don't like nobody that much, and I'm not finna put on my makeup and my good clothes to go and find out if you crazy. We can talk on the phone. And while I'm in the comfort of my home, and I can know in the first 10 minutes of this conversation if I'm never gonna want to speak to you again.
I need to see some body language. I need to see what your twitches
Oh,
are
we
and
can do that
everything.
too
So,
on FaceTime, but I'm saying to even get to the point of going on a date, I don't just blindly go on dates with me. And first off, that's dangerous. To just blindly be going on dates with me. I need to be able that my friend need to have your phone number. I need to have time to run a background check on you to find out if you really married or divorced. Because men lie about that. And women, if you need to know,
true.
divorce proceedings are public, so you can Google if he lying about that. um Marriage license are public domain. Look up in your state, you can find out. So don't let him lie to you about that. I don't like going on. I have never gone on. Well, I went on one date one time with a man I did not know. It was the worst date I went on in my life, and I never did it again.
All righty then. Well, look, y'all, it is 8:06 and we got to end this show. But Felice, I thank you for filling in for your mama at the last minute. This was really good. We have to bring you on later on as these topics come up with what's going on in the world. Y'all, she keep me informed because if I had to depend on Cameron, I won't know nothing about what's happening
Well,
in the
your son
world.
has even more radical beliefs than me. I asked Cam what he thought we should do about how men are acting, and he said, get rid of them.
Oh, well, I might bring him on the next one to do a follow up with it
He
then.
said, get
Do
rid
a
of them
follow
all.
up.
He said that's the only solution. Those guys have to go.
Well, I'm finna say this right now. My son, he ain't perfect by no means, but he is a very kind, compassionate, caring person. He got double fold, but his Uncle Jerry is his favorite uncle, and his dad is that kind of person. Terrell believe in taking care of the folks he love, and you're gonna have what you need, even if you don't think you need it. If it come out your mouth, if you we have a joke if you say something in front of them about, well, I think I need a woofer waffle, uh, a woofer waffle will be arriving in a few days. But that's his love language. So look, y'all, next week we got a star coming on, a big time star. Let me let y'all see who it is. The man, y'all remember him, Valton Johnson. My former co-host will be on, and Valton has been blessed, you all, with his series Welcome to Dondra Heights. It's on Tubi, it's on Amazon Prime, and I don't know if it's got on any other platforms. He went over to Atlanta. Renee got to go and be with him in La Cherie, where Dondra Heights was recognized, and he has some big things coming with everything. So definitely support him. And I'm so proud of him. And when he has a reading, if you think you act a little bit, you got to go to the table reading though. And you may get a part because he has been hiring people locally. That's one of his big things to make sure that he help others. And let me read a few more of these things. This Chucky, I can't pronounce, is it Chaz or Chels? She said at this point it's just safer to keep his stash as a woman because people relatives be getting radicalized by the manosphere and you might wake up beside an incel one day,
And she is
no matter
correct.
how well you.
She is correct. She is. I mean, you think it's a joke, but it is real, y'all.
No, I'm laughing. Valise, look, Chucky, I think you may be Valise other twin in the world. Y'all minds
I'm
alike.
just saying, no, like for real. As much as I've been joking, y'all, it's real out here. It's. If I could go, I could write a book just simply off the dating experiences of my homegirls and the amount of y'all. This is not even being funny. The amount of women who I have had to help get out of abusive marriages and relationships, not just physically, financially, and emotionally. that are near my age and that are going through this regularly. This is not a one off. And that's all I'm saying. It's not a one off. We not making this up. And I know me and y'all probably mad. I don't really care. Y'all need to read. Y'all need to read and educate yourself. That's y'all problem. Y'all don't read no books. And that's why y'all don't know nothing, because you don't read books. So I'm gonna recommend some books for y'all to read. Here one, I love her, Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. Y'all need to pick this book up, read it. It's a good book. It'll I also read you some Bell Hooks. I don't agree with some stuff she say because Bell Hooks was a pick me, but we'll talk about that another day. But she does have some good books that y'all should read. All About Love, The Will to Change, is a good one. Also, y'all should read Sula by Toni Morrison. That's a fictional book, but it's still a good lesson on how you can understand what's going on. And I'm serious, parents, about this manosphere and incel stuff. Y'all need to look this up, and y'all need to be educated with these boys, and y'all need to be talking to them about what they listening to, what they're hearing at school, how they y'all need to be talking about their feelings about girls. You also need to be watching the things you say about women, because those little subtle things that you say can change, their minds about how they are, handling girls and how their interactions with girls, not just romantically. Teach your kids to respect women in all contexts, not just when they want something from them, not just when they in a leadership role. Because y'all, we are in perilous times, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw the young girl got killed by the boy, by the girl boyfriend in the UK, because she broke
Yeah.
up with her. That's happening regularly. I just had one of my former mentees, her boyfriend beat her up at school, y'all, in front of teachers, in front of all of this, because she was talking to another boy. So I like, as much as I've been joking, y'all, it is serious out here. We are in a crisis with these boys and men. We have got to do something. We have got to change something, or baby, I don't know what we gonna do.
Yeah. And look, my Canadian sister is on here, Angela McCow, and I'm glad you made it tonight, girl. Love you. We're gonna have to talk soon. So you all go out there and educate yourself. And this is not about male bashing, because we can have a man on here to talk about some crazy females that they have dated. Probably not so much crazy, but my son has a struggle on the other side. A lot of women, which is crazy, they feel like he's too nice. Too nice. So he struggles with, what do I do? I'm
Well, unfortunately, because we all have been, this is, once again, go back to this word, patriarchy harms us all. Men, you especially. It harms us all. It harms women. None of us get to be humane under living under the rules that come with patriarchy. None of us get to fully love and see each other and see each other's humanity. We all are out here afraid of each other, and one gender does have very valid reasons to be afraid of the other, because it's just what facts show. 96% of the world's violent crimes are not committed by women. That's just factual. So we have to be real about what's going on so that we can really do something about it. That's
about
how
it.
I feel about it. And like I said, I talk to my women straight up. I talk to men straight up. I'm just giving you straight up, no chaser. Baby, I have written 50 to 60 page papers on this here subject and more when it comes to men and women. I studied this stuff in school. So I'm not making up nothing I'm talking about.
Hmm.
I'm not jaded. I love people. I love men. I don't think y'all my ministry. That's men need to fix men. That's how I feel. I minister to women and help them get their self esteem up so they just don't be taking this crap from these men. Cause honey, you don't have to. That's how, like, if you watching this and you happen to be in an abusive situation, honey, there is help for you. You don't have to stay there. You have options. I know it's scary. I know it's dangerous, but you have a choice and you have a way out, and call on the help that you need. There's domestic violence hotlines in every major city in this state. Please call it. Please use it. Don't stay there by yourself.
Most definitely, most definitely. And look, Valese, I thank you. You all, I dropped a link in here. Now, this is a pastor actually out of Houston, Texas, named Jerry Flowers, and I listen to him a lot. Number one, he's straight up. Even when his wife had their last, well, I ain't gonna say last child, had another child a few months ago. I think he was off 4 or 5 weeks from the pulpit, and people like, most pastors won't do that, but he was like, she having our baby, and I appreciate her for doing that. But he started a thing called Therapy Thursday, and he's not a licensed therapist, but he was like, I had so many people, mainly men. Why you want to go get some help? Why you want to talk to somebody? This is a pastor that's had therapy. So he was like, Lord, you got to help me, try to help these folks. So he started this thing called therapy Thursdays to get people to realize it's okay to talk about your issues. Because even if you're saved, if you ain't been delivered, he actually said something the other day. He said, a lot of people think they delivered, and what's eating at them is just dormant. It's just waiting the right time to resurface. And it always resurfaces when you think you got it all figured out. So you all, trust me, you need to vet who you getting your information from. And anytime you hear anybody that's totally one-sided on something, you probably need to look somewhere else with stuff, because there should be a balance. That's even if you're in counseling. They always, now unless you got somebody real edgy, that the counselor gonna say, yeah, they definitely got all the problems. You just need to leave. You need to pay attention to that too. But be prayerful whoever you consider to seek out counseling from. And some of us do need some professional counseling. Thank God most women do have the sister friends, even when you couldn't afford counseling. And that was a support, because we could bandage each other up. But men, they don't even really talk to their homeboys like that. And that was the one reason I hated that what was the movie and what was the show in Louisiana? Brown Sugar, Cage, what was it? Queen Sugar.
Queen Sugar.
I hated Queen Sugar ended without letting the man, he was giving, he's going to start the group, the therapy group for the men, and that's what we need. That's what we need. So, Valese, you completely froze. I guess it's time to go then. Your internet say you hungry. So we're gonna log off. Thank y'all for coming. Come back next week